get lost in rambles and not answer the question properly, so I have some guidelines. If I watch down to the notes for some time, that is why. Well, so let me start, I guess. So the first question is, what is your job or line of work? So, I have worked in marketing throughout the whole time that I was studying at university. I started out doing media and communication, which I didn't end up liking, and switching later on. So yeah, I worked in marketing as a part-timer during my whole university time, as well as I worked for the University of Zurich as well, as a research assistant or like assistant for a professor in the Department of Japanese philology, meaning ancient texts and philosophy and stuff like that. I worked on a project on time, but also I have done a research on the existence of the soul in ancient Japanese texts, so like particularly Edo period texts and Neo-Confucianism. After that, when I did my master's, I started working in marketing again, and I have been working as freelancer now with my fiance, but I really wanted to change that, and I'm in the process of looking for something that suits me better, because marketing, although I enjoyed it and I'm apparently good at it, it is not my biggest passion in life. I try to leave the corporate world because it's not exactly where I see myself and not exactly sparking joy for me at the moment. I would prefer to do something a little bit more creative. Okay, moving on to the next question that also has to do with university and work. And it says, what did you study in university? If you went, do you think you'd ever go back for future studies? So I studied Japanology in my major, which is kind of like everything about Japan, like language, culture, thought of time, modern, ancient, whatever. It's just basically a study on Japanese culture and language throughout the periods of time, basically. And in my minor, I studied political science in my bachelor's, so that was for the bachelor's. I then had to go to do my PhD, and that, let's just say, didn't seem to be meant for me, but I did my master's degree with the thought of moving on to study and doing my PhD as well in Japanology, specifically philosophy. And I switched my minor to social studies, which is actually quite basically a mix of all social sciences, like religious studies, media and communication, political science as well, but also sociology. I think it's called like that. Sociology, and basically every science that has to do with people. Oh yeah, popular culture, like pop culture as well, which was very fun to do courses on. And out of all these like fields, you could basically choose the topics you loved the most, like the lectures. So yeah, I loved my master. It was quite cool, and I really enjoyed it. Actually, university has always been my safe place, and I really loved going, but also, like, I didn't want to leave university, actually. I would have wished I could have stayed with the PhD. So, I don't think I will be back for future studies in the same field, because I feel like that's settled or whatever, to look at other studies. Like anthropology has always interested me a lot, art history, but also archaeology. Yeah, maybe, who knows. At the moment I do not have plans to go back to university, because I just feel like I need to move on in my career before I can do that, or like at least find a career that I want to have in my life currently. Moving on to question number three. What's your favorite place you've traveled and why? And do you have a souvenir you could show us and tap on? Okay, so I actually have traveled quite a bit in my life. I have visited a lot of countries in Europe. Living in Switzerland, that's not that hard because we are in the middle. And you pretty much get around with the car to the adjacent countries pretty easily. So I visited France, Italy. Of course, I'm Italian, so I have been in Italy quite often. I even like spent all the summers and all autumns there when I was a kid. So I went to Asia, like specifically Japan, and also to America, like the United States. I have been to almost every country in Europe. Almost. Not all, but a lot. And yeah, it's so hard to say which one is my favorite place I ever traveled to, because every place is different, like depending on where you are. Asia has a completely different culture than Europe, of course, and they all have appealing things, and you can't really compare them to each other. I like to compare countries with vibes and how the cities and the places I visit make me feel, you know what I mean? Like, anyway, I try to explain it later, but basically, if I would have to name one place that was my favorite I ever traveled to, it's gotta be Japan, because of course Italy has a special place in my heart because I am Italian, but Japan, it just, even the first time I visited Japan, I knew I wanted to study Japanology. It's just the people that are so friendly, but also the culture, the way of thinking, and putting so much thought into everything they do, and like especially like the ethic in creating things, that makes me kind of drawn to it. But also the scenery and the food, of course. Visited Tokyo, Yokohama, Nagoya, Shizuoka, and Kanazawa. So the first time I went there with my sister, and it was an unforgettable trip. We basically met with my father's friend and work partner. Well, he sells our guitars in Japan, so we met up with him, and I know him since I was 4 years old. So he's kind of like family to me at this point, and he showed us Shizuoka, Nagoya, and also we went to Mie Prefecture to visit the Isejingo, and just the energy and everything, the scenery, the history just left us mesmerized. I just knew I had to continue doing something with Japanese and Japan in general. And during my studies, I went to Kanazawa for an exchange month, for a month, and I lived there with a host mother. That was the sweetest lady ever. She had 2 cats, my twin sister, or my family as a backup because they clearly were far away. And I just experienced so many great things. Like, I met so many cute people that invited me for cookouts, like parties. I experienced like so many things. I was able to attend workshops where actually I brought the souvenir. It's not exactly a souvenir, I made this myself. It kind of reflects, so I'm not gonna put it into the camera too close, otherwise you see my setup and everything, which is kind of weird. So this is actual gold and gold leaf, and it's called Kinpako. This art form is called Kinpako, and it's kind of like the gold leaf that gets glued on with a special technique onto objects. Clearly I have messed up a bit everywhere, but it was my first time doing it, so be kind. Motifs, and arrange them on these platters, on these trays that I'm still using on my nightstand. And yeah, also got to do wagashi, like make wagashi, which are Japanese bean-based sweets. That was super fun, and we got to play taiko, I think it's called, like the big Japanese drums, and a crazy trip through Noto on a Greyhound bus that was just like the class I was with. No free classes. It's kind of like 3 classes that went together, like from China, Korea, and Switzerland. And it was such a fun, crazy trip. Like, I could do a story time on that once if you wanted to, but it was quite fun actually. We started from one point of the coast and went to the other, driving on the beach and everything. I just feel like this experience like changed me, but also it will forever have a special place in my heart. I kind of saw what the city is so beautiful. The people are skeptical of foreigners first, but I think you can get around pretty easily once you get the system of the buses and everything. And I lived far, like the furthest away from the school, on the foot of a mountain called Kakasan. And yeah, I think you can see it in my eyes when I talk about it, why this trip was so special. It's just hard to put it into words, but yeah, it was amazing. If you want to have an extended story on my Japan trip when I lived there, I have lots of stories, and I could tell them to you if you would enjoy that. But now I'm gonna move on, otherwise I'm gonna get A, emotional, and B, use up too much time for that question. So I would say Kanazawa, Japan was one of my favorite places I ever traveled to. Alone, at least. That I know it's just because of the place and the things I experienced there. Moving on. What's your favorite US state visited, if any, and any you want to visit in the future? So I put this together because it also has to do with traveling. Yes, I have visited the US multiple times. I, however, have just visited 2 places. New York City. I was 11 years old, so I can't exactly remember everything. I just know that I thought it was an extremely beautiful city and that I was mesmerized, and we have some relatives living there. Mother's aunt that I really loved a lot that passed away 5 years ago, but I really loved her, and I loved New York. I can remember that I really loved it. And Los Angeles, we actually have been to Los Angeles 3 times because of the NAMM show, if you know what I always say our father because I'm used to that, talking in plural because of my sister. But my father builds electric guitars, so we are always at music shows. And yeah, I loved both, but I just have to say that, like, Cali has my heart. I really love the LA vibes. Maybe it's biased because of all the people I met at the show and that I'm still friends with to this day. And I really, really love great people and just the vibe of the city. Like, I'm a huge heavy metal and 80s metal fan, so I don't know, the Strip is kind of where my heart like starts getting like joyful, if that makes any sense. Like, yeah, I just light up whenever I'm close to the Sunset Strip, and I just love the vibes in general. It can be a little bit superficial at times if you, like, you know, a lot of things are just for show, I guess, but I kind of still enjoyed it a lot, like the mix between being close to the beach but also in a huge city and all the like trendy things that LA has to offer. But like, at the same time, I've met some of the realest people ever, so yeah. And I think it's also the aspect of the show, like a lot of famous people are there, or like just people that share my interests in music and art forms and stuff like that, that I just feel like make the city something special for me. And I just loved how it made me feel to be there, like with my parents, with my sister, and just exploring like the hills and the Hollywood sign and Universal Studios and everything. I just loved it so much. So I guess I would have to say California, Los Angeles. But I do want to visit more states, actually. I always wanted to visit the spooky hotspots like Arizona or New Orleans. I really, really, really love to see that, actually. Like, 100%. I will go there one day. I would also enjoy to see Nashville, Tennessee, just because, like I mentioned, I love music and music history and stuff like that, so I feel like Nashville would have a lot to offer in that field. Also, I would really, really love to visit Alaska and Hawaii. Well, Hawaii, I don't think there's anything to add. It's just so beautiful, and I just always envisioned it to be like paradise. My mother's long life dream has always been to go to Hawaii, and I really want to fulfill that for her. Also, I love nature. I'm not a camper, and you would never catch me hiking for multiple days on trails where you're just in the middle of fucking nowhere. But I love to see nature and to be around animals. Like, I have always loved animals so much. Like, my dream is to have a foundation to save orangutans. I'm getting emotional about that, yeah. And so places with a lot of wildlife like Alaska or Hawaii definitely are states that I would want to visit. Also, we had a teacher in high school that was from Ohio, and he made us learn everything about all of the 50 states, and I don't know why, but I just ever since had that dream to go to Maine. I mean, you can laugh at me, or maybe that's a common thing to say, but Maine just seems so pretty. Like, I could envision myself eating lobster at the sea and look at the beautiful scenery. I don't know, that's kind of like in my head, rent-free. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I'm sorry, I tend to ramble a lot, but I think that's also a good thing in ASMR, isn't it? Moving on to the next question. It says same question, so a favorite thing I've traveled to as above, but for countries. So instead of the states, the countries that I would love to visit, and which ones are my favorite ones that I traveled to, I assume. So I think I kind of answered this question before, like with the countries I traveled to, and which one was my favorite travel experience, but this probably gives me the chance to add some more countries that I really loved and why. So, of course, Italy. I just love old cities, and even though this might seem biased, I really love Italy. Love old cities, I love the food, I love the vibe, like having a gelato in the piazza, and like having an aperitivo at night before dinner, and I just always feel at home in Italy, of course, and I love it a lot. And like I said, I'm a sucker for history and old cities. So especially Florence, which I've just been to, or also Lucca, and like just in general old cities like Florence and Venice. I just feel like you can feel so much history, and every stone has been walked on by legends like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, and like so many important, incredible figures that are responsible for who we are as a human species today. Also, another city I really love is Paris. That sounds so cliche, and yes, I also got engaged in Paris, Versailles to be exact, which I never wanted because I always thought it was cliche. But it makes a lot of sense if you think about the fact that I have visited Paris at least 7 times. I have been there as a kid, I have been there as a teenager, I have been there as a grown-up. I have experienced Paris in every phase of my life, and I always loved it. Yes, it is not as clean as you may think. Yes, there are criminals and pickpockets. Yes, it is cliche. Yes, people are rude, but I just don't know, maybe it's because I know the city so well, and over the years I just learned to appreciate it for what it is. But again, the vibe, just sitting in the cafes and drinking hot chocolate or coffee or a glass of wine and just getting lost in the streets and finding cute little bistros or brasserie where you can like eat something and drink a glass of wine outside, or like talk to people that you're with or with like strangers about life, and just watching people pass by. I don't know, it just has this vibe in Paris. I don't know, I just love it so much. And of course all the monuments and the museums and the history and the old houses, and need I say more? Yeah. One more place I would have to mention before I conclude this question would have to be Denmark. I enjoy Scandinavia so much. I love Copenhagen, one of my favorite cities in the entire world. Again, I always say vibe a lot, but it's kind of like the way people live there and move around, and I love their ice cream. Actually, that's so funny because Copenhagen and Denmark, or like Scandinavia in general, has one of the best soft cream, like soft ice, ever. Like, you have to go there and you have to try it. It's one of the best. Also, my best friend used to have a house in Denmark, and it's unfortunate that I have a lot of those things that I could tap on or show you that I brought home from there at my parents' house still, because I'm so bad at like moving things. And yeah, but yeah, she had a summer house that is now her mother's actual house, where we always used to go to on the countryside as well, close to the beach, and we would walk for miles and miles from one place to the other along the beach to go play golf and have dinner or lunch and stuff like that. So yeah, also something that I really loved about Denmark is the way everybody like has this tradition of going to the beach at sunset to have dinner on the beach with like these like little grills that you only use once, like barbecue grills that are made of aluminium, and after you use it you take it with you and you like expose of it, and people just go there and have sausages and like homemade things on the beach, and it's just so romantic and beautiful. Countries I would want to visit that I haven't yet. One city that I really, really, really want to visit as soon as possible is Edinburgh. Now, I probably butchered that pronunciation, but I think everybody does, so I guess we're good. I just know I would love this city. Of all the ghost stories and witch shops and bars that are like vampire and witch and like occult themed. I just love that so much. And ghost tours and all of that. Also, it's such an old city and has incredible nature and wildlife and sceneries. I just know I will love it so much, and I can't wait to book a flight and go there as soon as possible. Another place I really wanted to visit, and I almost visited next week, would actually be Thailand. My fiance's parents moved there 2 years ago, and ever since we wanted to go visit them. Actually, next week we would have flown over, but since that's now a war zone that we would have to fly over, it won't be possible anymore, so we had to cancel that, because flights just, like the ticket prices for plane tickets just exploded. Because I don't know if you know that, or from where you're watching, but in Europe it was very, very hard for people to come back home from Asia, specifically South Asia, like the Philippines, Maldives, Thailand and everything, because they all fly over Doha and Dubai. So yeah, direct flights are now over I think it's over $8,000 for just regular economy tickets. Yeah, and also it's not so safe, and you cannot book any flights, because as soon as there's a flight, it is taken again, because people are desperately trying to come home. There are some influencers, but also people that are posting on TikTok and YouTube and everywhere that they are stranded in Thailand, Maldives and wherever else, and they can't get home because either there's no flights or they have to stop like at 10 destinations, and the flights are just outrageously expensive. So yeah, I really hope that we can visit my fiance's parents soon, maybe next year, I guess, or after our wedding. Maybe we could do our honeymoon there or something like that. Oh, if you have some recommendations for honeymoons, put it in the thank you so much. Second, that's actually so funny that somebody asked that, because as a kid I was that set on becoming an actress and I never lost that passion. I have never done acting, which is one thing I regret. I've never pursued it in a career option. I have always signed up for everything that said theater, writing, movie, or singing in high school. So I signed up for all of that, and I have participated in every play in any school that I have ever been to, in any play that they ever did, and I always had the lead because I love theater and I love movie, and I never cared about whether it was movie or theater. I just loved it so much. I love, like, as soon as theater or acting or writing was kind of like in the room, I was there. And I was super timid and shy, and I hated being in front of people, and I hated talking in front of people. I was so afraid. But the second I was on stage, I was a different person. But I never did it professionally, which I really regret. I once even thought about saying fuck it and just going to like acting school after high school instead of university, but I got afraid because everyone kept telling me that I would have no chance and that that is not something safe to pursue, and they convinced me not to go. Not necessarily my parents. I mean, they were worried, of course, that I would not have a career after that, but they always said I should do what I want to do. But talking to other people, like friends or my parents' friends or stuff like that, it's always them who ruin everything, so never tell anyone what you want to do. If you fail, it's going to be because you tried and you failed, and not because people told you you can't do it. So that's a little tip maybe on the side, but yeah, I never did it. I decided to go the regular, safe, secure path and go to university and study, and I'm trying to find a corporate job, which ended up not being for me, so maybe I should have just pursued acting. Yeah, I mean, it's never too late, but let's be honest, I would have had better chances earlier on. Anyway, writing has always been a passion of mine. I also attempted to write a book once or twice. Never followed through because of time. Then writing, reading it and thinking everything's garbage that I wrote, and yeah. But teachers have always told me that I have a talent for writing and that I should do something with writing, which I never did. I don't know why. I just feel like maybe when you're in high school, you always try to be somebody else, or you always try to find yourself and you're not quite there, and you always try to be like everybody else and fit in, and maybe you should not do that. So yeah, although to be fair, some of the role plays, well, especially my first one, was a recommendation from somebody in the comments, and that actually helped me get over the fear of recording a role play, so thank you for that, whoever of you lovely people it was. To you. Okay, the seventh question would be, my question is, when did you first feel ASMR? When did you start watching it? So this has actually a few steps to explain. The first time I witnessed ASMR was pretty early on. I think I was 12. But basically I still do. I still experience that when I walk into stores. And it's basically when you go shopping and like sales assistant or like a store assistant is explaining something to you about the products or how to apply them or what is special she was saying. So I just understood half of what she was saying because my brain was just like, getting tingles. So ASMR is also a good selling technique, I guess. But no, in all honesty, that's the first time I experienced that, and I still get that. Or like when people would play with your hair in class, or when they would play a game of telephone and like audible whispers. I'm so bad at doing inaudible whispers, but when they would do inaudible whispers in your ear, telling you things and stuff like that. And how I got to know ASMR was actually super funny. I can't remember how the show was called, but it must have been like 7 years ago or something like that. We were watching this police show. I can't remember what it was called. I just remember maybe Jessica Alba was in it. I don't know. And the protagonist's daughter started making shady money in this series, and everybody was like, oh, she must be doing some sexual things, or like selling herself on the internet, or selling substances or whatever. But then they figured out in a plot twist that she's just an ASMR artist on YouTube and has a lot of, and is actually successful and has a lot of sponsors and people that are subscribed, so she like earns a lot of money with our YouTube channel. And but she always had things like feathers and masks and stuff like that that made it very suspicious, if you know what I mean. It was the first time I heard the term ASMR, and where somebody explained what it was. After that, actually, it was funny because like videos on YouTube just randomly got suggested to me, which was a blonde lady, but you ever only saw this part of her and her hands, so you never saw her. I think at least the videos I watched, you didn't. And she would like play with makeup that was super cute and would like explain it, and like it was mostly like Japanese and Korean makeup with like strawberries on it. Olika, I think, was one of them. Olika. She always said it like a trigger word. I don't know how she's called anymore, and not one video of her has ever been suggested to me anymore. But like, if it resonates, please let me know who she is in the comments below, because I really loved it so much, and I never found her videos again. And that's how I started watching ASMR. And after that, I actually looked for ASMR videos on YouTube. I would watch videos from Maddie ASMR doing role plays, but also hauls and stuff like that, which I really enjoyed. And I kind of like decided to create a channel after 5 years because I just loved the YouTube community, watching videos. I always saw people supporting and like being there for each other and building up communities with themes and topics that we're actually interested in, and it kind of like creates a platform where people can share their interests, where they can feel safe in. And I just felt like combining ASMR and my interests for spooky stories, but also my interest for makeup and fashion and acting, like role plays and stuff like that. So yeah, exactly. That's how I got into ASMR. Maybe you can write in the comments below how you got into ASMR and what do you actually love about it, and when you felt your first tingles. So let's move on to the 8th and last question. So what is your comfort food, and do you have any life hacks, clothing, skincare, or daily routines that felt truly life-changing? So I'm gonna answer them chronologically. My comfort food, so I enjoy a lot of foods, so it was hard for me to pick, but since the question is comfort food, I would have to say my nonna's and now my mom's spaghetti, or like homemade ravioli, pasta with my nonna's and my mom's Sunday ragu sauce. It's what people often mistake for Bolognese sauce, like the red ragu sauce. Yeah. I wouldn't even say it's my favorite food in the whole entire world, but I don't know, whenever I eat it, I just get so many memories from sitting together making pasta with my grandmother that passed away, unfortunately, 2020. And like, just the tradition of having this one sauce everybody makes for centuries and passes down to the younger generation, and like meeting together Sunday to do that together. It just creates this comfort. Whenever I'm sad or lonely, I just crave it or think about it, so I would say that. Moving on to the life hack. Actually, a life hack is harder to answer. I would say skincare routine wise, I would say something that changed it for me were these two products from La Roche-Posay. I don't know if it picks it up well on camera. Yeah, I really enjoyed these. This is like the Effaclar serum. The Effaclar serum. Which I'm clearly out of. Like, there's not much left in it at all, as you can see. It just really got rid of all my blemishes. Like, my skin has never been this flawless and smooth ever since I've been using this. One of my best friends actually put me onto it because her sister works for L'Oreal, so she said she used it and I never had problems with like pores and stuff like that again, and I must agree. So and this one is the Cicaplast B5 balm. As you can see, I also almost used it up. I just ordered new ones today. They're just very good for skin conditions, sensitive skin and everything. Like, you can even put this on rashes or acne prone skin on your back and everywhere on your body as well, so it's not only for the face. Maybe one more thing, I used to have a very complicated routine, like, you know, trendy routines that have like 10 steps and 100 products and God knows what, but I just kind of stopped doing that and just stick to products that actually feel good on my skin and that I actually want to use consistently. And it's just 3 products. Like I said, it's these 2 that I showed you before, and before makeup I used Rhode Glazing Milk. I don't know what she puts into this, but it's just amazing. Like, my makeup never looked better. And what I also like to use are the Medicube face masks. I don't have any here to show you because I just used my last one. Or the Biodance collagen masks, which I do once every 2 weeks or once every month, or before special events. But other than that, I would say skincare wise, I would just say if you have 3 good products that really benefit your skin and you notice it's getting better, then just stick to these 3 products. Like, don't overcomplicate it, is what I would say. It's just what works for me, because I just remember that I would walk in the bathroom, I'd be like, oh my god, now I have to like double cleanse and like put on 1,000 things before I can go to bed. And if you just have 3 products that actually work well, I would just stick to those. So I use a different morning routine. Basically, I have just this Rhode Glazing Milk toner and the Jason, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Beauty of Jason water-based SPF 50 for the mornings, and at night I use the La Roche-Posay products that I showed you, plus the makeup remover and the cleanser, the water-based cleanser that is also from La Roche-Posay that I just finished as well, so I threw it away this morning. That's why I don't have it here. Yeah, I would say just stick to something simple that you actually do religiously instead of using too much. Then one life hack that I would have regarding clothes, like clothing, I would say invest in good basic pieces. Buy pieces now that go well together and that are mixable and pairable throughout your whole wardrobe, and adding some cool pieces, like trendy pieces to it. Let me know if you want an ASMR video on that, because I'm actually clearing out my wardrobe right now. I'm cleaning up my closet. I have a lot of things that I don't wear anymore because I lost some weight and the clothes don't fit nicely anymore and don't spark joy anymore, so I'm currently changing a lot of things and I need new basics. I need new fun things as well. Just let me know if you want a separate video on how I shop now and what I changed about it, because I feel like when people are not interested in it in this video, it might be, yeah, you know, too much in depth. So yeah, I could make a separate video if you are interested in it. Let me know in the comments below. So I hope I could answer the questions for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this 1K special. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart for the support, for the comments, for the love, for the following, for everything. I'm very, very grateful to have this little community, and seeing it grow means the world to me. So continue doing what you do and I will continue doing what I do. Hopefully getting better at